All right, folks, bundle up, get some hot cocoa, and try to stay warm because we're going to Evercold in this issue of the Carbuncle Chronicle. Hello, adventurers, and welcome to the Carbuncle Chronicle, your podcast for everything awesome in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Basil. I play a Lalafell summoner named 4K Ritus on Leviathan.
I'm Anna. I play a Lalafell dancer named Cormia Ritus sometimes on Leviathan.
Guess who's back? It's Nanawai Silvestri, your Lalafell paladin on Leviathan/Ultras.
Hey.
And are you going double shift now? Is that what's going to happen?
Anna, I didn't include this part, and it's important in our show notes. But you're right. You're saying you're mostly just on Leviathan sometimes now. A lot of times you're on Aether. In a matter of months, that's not going to be an issue anymore.
I'll never have to leave Primal again. It's going to be wonderful.
Because one of the big things they did announce was that they are doing regional party finding, not just data center party finding, and that's amazing.
It was one of the few things I cheered at. It was the first thing I cheered at the keynote, actually.
Oh yeah, no, it was something we hoped for. We really hoped for. Wasn't sure we'd get it, and oh, thank goodness, because even the last couple of days, I've been doing Unreal with a group that I've become friends with through Ultimates, and then even today. And somebody inevitably forgets to go to Aether before it closes. So because we're a full group, we can all go to Primal. But if you've got a party finder somebody, you're screwed. So no more though. We can just live where we want to live, put up our party finder with the boob password and go.
And man, congrats to everyone on Dynamis.
Right. Dynamis
they actually get to play the game now.
Poor Oceania.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Wait, hold on. Aren't the people in Dynamis stuck though if they're in Oceania? Because it's region, right?
They're not. Dynamis isn't Oceania. Dynamis is North American.
Oh, got it. What was the one on Oceania?
Oceania's it's Australia.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Sure, yeah, but I thought people were moving there when Dawn Trail started. I guess I was wrong about it, but whatever. Good. People don't have to travel that much anymore. Good.
Now you only go to Dynamis if you want a house.
Yeah, if memory serves, back when Endwalker and Dawn Trail launched, you could do the data center hop over visit only to Dynamis, and they were also letting people hop on over to Oceania. So because they're so unpopulated, that allowed people they really wanted to group up from different data centers. You could go to those data centers to group up for things.
That's right. I just remember it was about the same time. So that's why I conflated the two in my mind. I remember people moving to Dynamis thinking it was going to be great, not crowded anymore. And nobody moved over there. So it was it's hard to get group content going. You get a house, but you're the only person there.
Yep. So I think the whole data center thing, or the whole regional thing versus data centers, it's a great move. I'm glad they're upgrading servers and making sure the infrastructure is there. And a lot of this stuff I really feel is really stuff that they started really investing in and figuring out during Dawn Trail. And we're now just reaping the benefits today for Evercold stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think a lot of the stuff we're seeing that we'll be talking about is in fact thanks to Dawn Trail. So world, you should be happy that Dawn Trail existed. It's a good expansion.
It'll get its day like Stormblood did.
Oh, absolutely.
Just in a few years.
It absolutely will. Whenever we actually wrap up the Godless Realm saga, or Realm of the Godless, or whatever, the current, Godless. Yeah. When I don't know if it's going to start with this expansion and end in next expansion, or if there'll be like 2 expansions after Evercold. But I think when we're approaching like the big finale expansion, I think people will be looking back at Dawn Trail and going, yeah, that was pretty good actually. And I also feel that a lot of people who are starting this game and they're playing through it for the first time and not having to deal with the whole junk that was the launch of Dawn Trail and all the vitriol from bad actors and whatnot, I think they're going to have a much smoother experience. And they'll be like, yeah, this is good. Why are people complaining? Just, again, like Stormblood. Because when Stormblood came out, everyone thought, oh, well, this isn't as good as Heavensward. And we don't know about this Lise character. But a lot of the same things that people are grousing about of Dawn Trail all happened during Stormblood.
And from as someone that only came to this afterward, I noticed a lot of complaints were people who went through it at the time, things like Robon Savage, a thing which I only know about through memes because that's not a problem anymore. So I'm kind of curious if some of the issues that people have at Dawn Trail are going to be gone when Evolve Mode hits and other changes hit in the future, retroactively fixed.
Yeah. Before I keep going, Tobias, just a quick question for you. Have you done the MSQ for 7.5?
No, I just unlocked the trial.
Okay.
Halfway through.
Okay, that's enough for what I think I might talk about by accident, and I don't want to spoil you inadvertently.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think the only thing I was curious about was in regards to the trailer for Evercold,
which we'll cover in a moment. But before we really dig into things, I did want to get a sit rep on how we generally felt about FanFest. I know last time we did a whole episode on FanFest, but I know for me, I think, oh, this FanFest, boy, they sure learned all those lessons we talked about last time we went to FanFest.
Best run, best North American FanFest I feel we've ever had in terms of what we got with content, in terms of what we got with actual things to do at FanFest, in terms of how it was run. I realize we've got people that were on staff that are players of the game and probably have come to FanFest, so they knew, they all seem so much nicer. Even the actual convention center staff seemed knowledgeable and very nice, and like you could tell there were moments that they were like, okay, we just got to get you all to do what we need you to do, but they weren't like mean. And I feel like this was absolutely the smoothest run FanFest North America has ever had.
I will say that the weird part about this FanFest was that there was no battle challenge.
Yes.
But after FanFest was over, I'm like, thank God there was no battle challenge.
Yeah, I was sad I didn't get to play any 14. And I know, I was watching, I believe this was in State of the Realm that they were talking. I kind of do wish they may have had like some places to where people could try out the different modes, since they did have like, and I know they're saving that probably for Media Tour, absolutely, but it would have been neat to like watch the dev panel and then get to go try it out a little bit. Like maybe just Paladin, just Bard, just White Mage, just those jobs, but maybe be able to sort of like get a little hands-on with it. Which, like you said, the wait would have been extravagant. The wait would have been forever. They could have tried the reservation thing. That is one of the negatives that happened. But, it's something that could have done. But again, I overall very positive with how this FanFest.
Yeah, I would agree. Having only gone to one, the last one, the infamous one, this was improved in pretty much every way. I thought the location was better. The weather was better. The timing was better.
Oh my God, the weather. I wanted to bring it home.
It was cooler there than it was here in North Carolina. That was so strange. You go to California, you think it'd be beach weather, but no, it was chilly.
I got to wear my sweater the whole weekend and not get incredibly hot.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
As an event, I thought that like the food was a lot better. The food trucks, there were ridiculous lines for everything, but like I thought the food was good. Being California, the food was expensive, but it wasn't horrendously expensive, and also it was better. I had a burger there, and it was a great burger. I felt like it was worth the $18 I paid for it, honestly, which is more than I could say for a lot of food here. That just feels like I'm overpaying. I just enjoyed that. I thought that was really interesting, really cool. I thought it was very walkable. Everything was in that sort of block. Mm-hmm. Our hotels were in the block. So it was really easy just to get to. We were like a few bucks away from Disneyland and like the Anaheim walk, the Anaheim garden walk or something. I had a bunch of stuff there. And like you said, like everything at FanFest was great. I liked the overflow room. I provided a lot more seating for people. Maybe it wasn't as fun to sit in there, not see the main stage directly, but it was fine.
I know people actually preferred being in there for the primals than the actual main room. Like they actually got to see things and
nice.
Because and honestly, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I honestly probably would have rather been in that room because I couldn't even see one of the screens for a while. So, you were talking about the lines. I will tell you, we went to the Tennessee Renaissance Fair yesterday. The food lines at FanFest were better.
Wow.
Like Basil stood in line for like 20 minutes yesterday for food. It never moved, and we decided just to get food when we left.
Dang.
And so I can't talk about the quality of it, but I was just like, yeah, nope, I'd rather just, we hit up a couple of different food trucks, and yeah, I absolutely loved everything. Like there was such an improvement, like with food wise, because there was food in the convention and the food trucks, and apparently there were other food trucks somewhere else. And also, we definitely need to mention the other convention that was going on at the same time. Like they were incredibly nice, incredibly delightful. One of our good friends was at that convention, and we realized we were both there at the same time, and we were like, wait a minute, that was so much fun. And then we ended up having lunch with a couple of ladies that were at the occupational therapy conference, and they're both probably going to start playing 14 when it comes out on Switch. They were both very excited. They asked so many questions about what they were seeing, about what the game was, and it based on we've all been to different conventions where there's other groups there, and they're not always that. There's not a good mesh sometimes, and so that also can really hurt the experience
for sure. But like you said, I feel like everything was an improvement. Generally, if I've got to have one dig and I have one little complaint, I did feel like the little activities, the set pieces, were not as eye-catching as they were last year, and they certainly aren't as eye-catching as the ones I've seen in Europe and Japan. They had the big dancing green, which was really cool. I like the big dancing green in the stage they had. It was great to watch. That was kind of it. I didn't the line for the Graha Tia gondola thing. It was just a photo opportunity. Was ridiculous. One of the worst things compared to even last year, line-wise. And I'm not going to do that to get a picture of Graha Tia. Sorry, it's just not me. I walked around and took pictures of it over to the side. I did get a picture of the big XIV, the big sign they do. That was because they had at some point there was no line for that. So I made it to get a picture of that particularly. And I took a picture of the dancing green separate, but I wasn't going to wait in line for that, or the Honeybee Lovely one where they had a cosplayer set up. Not bad ideas, but you look at last year where they had the big old Charlian statue with the harbor. They had with the whole book NATO thing in the library. They had the big proto Carbuncle. I feel like there was more last year, and it just felt, especially with the battle challenge, like they could have done something maybe. That's not why I'm there at FanFest, I guess. But I just didn't even bother to do any of the activities this year because of that.
Yeah, I wish there was sticker incentives for specific activities, but then there were activities that didn't have it. I wished that the incentives were more on the activity booths rather than the photo op booths. Because there was no one ever in the bottle toss challenge.
Yeah.
There were I know there was the alpaca thing. I never actually got to go do it, but I did see people over there. I mean, I know the devs went over there and everything. I wish they had, because there was just no incentive other than just doing it. I feel like all the photo ops were great. I do, now that I'm thinking about it more, yeah, you're right. They were a little more outlandish last year, and compared to the Amarat we saw in, I think it was Korea. Some people, and it may just be on who, what's local, what's available, what they can physically get done for this country.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, no, and I will say Basil and I were very fortunate. We had a couple of friends that were ADA, and honestly, we probably should have signed up. At least Basil could have. So we had the ADA wristbands. So for all these activities that had, Graha had the 2-hour lines, Honeybee had capped lines, we were able to walk right up. And I know we had the glares from people, but I appreciated that they offered that, because like we did Dancing Green with a friend of ours, and like they allowed some of them to, if they wanted, they allowed you to sit and you could just watch and then do, you could still get your sticker. And then if you wanted to try and get out there to dance, you could. So they didn't make you do it. So like, and I'm sure, so I'm glad that they offered that option. Yeah, I will say my two biggest gripes, and this is one was the merch reservation, because, and it played in my benefit. I got something out of it where other people did not, and I felt bad. They opened merch reservations like at 8 p.m. the day before for the next day.
Right.
Well, and they did that on Thursday, and I queued up, didn't get in. I was like, cool, didn't expect to. So Friday, some friends of ours had gotten in, so they went and got stuff, and I had them buy me what I wanted. But Friday, we were sitting there waiting for the piano concert, and it was like 6:30. I hear somebody behind me say, merch reservations are open. Like, they're like, I thought they opened at 8. They went, well, they're open now. So I got on the app, and I looked, and I immediately got it. There was no queue. I got a spot for the next day automatically. And I got to pick what time. But then come 8 o'clock, all the reservations were gone. So whoever was in charge of that, yeah, you need to either, and this is goes with my other thing. You say something's going to happen, you need to stick to it. And that was my other thing is Basil was fortunate enough to win a meet and greet. And in the email we got, it says, do not arrive more than 15 minutes before your allowed time. And it says, do not arrive, later than 15 minutes before your time ends or something. But so I was like, okay, cool. 15 minutes beforehand, we will go line up. And this was this is the same gripe I have with the meet and greet and the merch line. You show up 15 minutes before your time, there's already a line. And it's just people that...
not a short line.
Not a short line, already a line. And it's people that has reservations for the time that you also have a reservation, but they just decide to go more than 15 minutes early. And I know I've been to conventions, and one particularly is MTAC. They will have people there, and if someone shows up before the time they are allowed to start lining up, they will say, no, you cannot be here. You must go away. We will not start lining up until this certain time. And I wish they had done that. It's like, I know, because there were other things to go do, but I wish that they had given us that rule and then stuck to it. Like, that was the thing, is if, that was my biggest thing, was if you tell me do not show up more than 15 minutes before your allotted time, I will not show up. Other people will, and then I'm going to get annoyed because, then I'm 3 hallways away. So, but that was my biggest thing, is if you're going to say something, stick to it. Merchandise reservations, lining up, all that.
So first now, and I feel related to preface that, I know that while I had an ADA wristband, as it turned out, I really needed that ADA wristband. Like my back was killing me. I've got recently, literally within the past couple of months, I am dealing with sciatica now that comes and goes. And unfortunately for me, that weekend, it showed up, and it showed up with a vengeance. I was dragging my ass all through that FanFest, having a great time, but physically, I was not doing well. And one of the things we were doing was, one of our friends, he is in a walker, and he needs help doing things, even just holding things. And we were up there for all the activities. We were pretty much just with him, making sure that he was able to do the things that he wanted to do. And through a lot of it, we were like, man, maybe I should have had a walker or even a scooter. I was not doing well.
Yeah. And our friends are even like, dude, you have a hole in your spine. You qualify. They looked at me and said, you've had major surgery. You qualify. I get it. But we're stubborn. We,
Well, I do cons a bunch of times in a year. We go to MTAC, we go to MomoCon, we go to Otakon, we go to conventions, and I've never felt so debilitated as I was during FanFest. I just had a confluence of old madness that I just wasn't expecting to all pile in at once. But if I had to ask for one thing for them to think about changing for the next FanFest, it is, we mentioned earlier, a lot of the photo ops are where they allowed you to get the collectible stickers. I really feel that either A, you need to double or triple the amount of these photo spots. Like you need multiple Grahatillas if you're going to do that. It's one thing to have it be a photo thing with Grahatilla, and that's enough. But then to lock away one of your collectible stickers also behind that is not great, especially when it's like a 3 or 4 hour line just to get through to get your picture with that beautiful, beautiful boy. Now, I think what they should have done was they went, okay, that photo op and this activity and that activity, all 3 of these give this sticker. Dancing Green, this other activity, they all give this sticker. And you could communicate with that in the app. It was just a little bit more organization. But that way, there are multiple routes that you can get, like the collectible things you can't get anywhere else to put in your sticker book and have a good time. Like that'd be my thing, is that either you needed to do more things or make sure that everything gives out those things. That way, if, say, Tobias does not want to spend the hours to get pictures with Graha, he can go try to pick up sticks that fall and still get a sticker.
Yeah. I was not going to go sit in a Grahatia cuck chair for a sticker. Sorry. And like you said, though, these are stickers. These are not like actual things they're giving away. Like last year, at least they gave a poster if you did all the QR codes. And that is just a piece of paper. But like stickers are nothing. Like that's a step above trash. Like, let's be honest. You're getting it for the sake of doing it. They've already given you a book. So like, let's just give me the sticker that you want me to put in the book anyway, because I paid $200 to be here. Like they should be handing those out like candy, not making you sit there alone.
Well, I will say that is not the first. That's been something that has happened every FanFest that we've been to. Like there, now I say that now. Okay, let me back up. No, the first FanFest they did not do stickers. They did stamps because it was like a Hildebrand quest, and you would do things and you got. I don't remember what we got out of that. Was it the triple triad cards, or maybe it was stickers?
It was triple triad cards. I think we also did get like a sticker or two, and that was also the FanFest that we got the pixel art stickers for all the jobs at the time.
Yeah, and then but I remember though the second one.
That just came in the goodie bag.
Yeah, it did. Because I remember, but the second one, I remember, we got the Yojimbo, the I Beat Yojimbo sticker. We got the Eureka Challenge sticker. We got, there was a couple other, they're all on the fridge down there where Basil is. But like they did do different stickers. Like, there was a fashion report one. But yeah, so this is not new. And it's just one of those things like, if you don't want them, you don't have to do it. I'm, you know me, I collect things. I think it's fun. And I always put my stickers on magnets so they can go on the fridge. So they're not just stickers, they're magnets. But yeah, so that's
like 2 steps from trash.
Shut up.
Well, I mean, sure, it's great to have. Like I would have, if they were handing them out and I could do them more easily, I would have loved to have them to put in my book. Right now, my book is just going to be all the Warrior of Light stickers that I managed to get from the Warrior of Light sticker trade. But like, if they were specifically wanting to do the stickers, they probably should just give them out more, because I mean, we're all there. We should have just had them, making us sit through 2 hours to take a dumb picture of Grahatia.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree that is the photo op thing. Yeah, I agree. Because like the other ones that we've done, you beat Yojimbo in the game. You did the little Eureka run where you got chased by the dragon in the frozen area. They were fun. And then so I completely understand, and I agree. Like
that's just my one complaint. Yeah,
I will forever be salty. I don't get my I Beat Proto Ultima shirt. So I mean, I will forever be salty. I never got that shirt, but I know that's a PAX thing, even though they did it at the very first FanFest with Odin.
Anyways, it was a very, very good FanFest. Like I really don't want to. These are closer to, I don't want to say minor, these are quibbles. I'm not going to say minor quibble, but these are quibbles. These are things that we would have liked seen
for sure,
as an improvement for future FanFest. But overall, it was they clearly, again, had learned the lessons from the 2023 FanFest. They enacted them for this FanFest, and it ran so much smoother. The staff was so much more attentive than the one in Vegas. The few times that we were doing ADA stuff, like it was mostly just for us, it was the piano concert. We also had like the worst ADA seating that was there for the piano concert. Like we were at the very left side and there were multiple pillars in the way. Like we probably would have had a better time in the overflow room, but you live, you learn. But the people were like checking to make sure, do you have ADA wristbands? Because there were a lot of people who didn't. They were just sitting.
Oh yeah, they moved a lot of people.
They were actively making sure that when people were in wheelchairs, they were actively moving seats around to make sure that the people in wheelchairs could sit with other people in ADA and they weren't like blocking the hallways and whatnot. So they were doing a very, very good job. Like this was a very good fan fest. The Square Enix staff that worked it should feel very proud. They put on a very good show. Just hand out more of the stickers. But all right, let's take a musical break and then we're going to talk about this whole new trailer thing and announcements and whatever for Evercold. This is the Carbuncle Chronicle.
Night. Open up my eyes.
One more time. It's my favorite story.
Can't see tomorrow.
Oh, you know it better than me by now. But if you insist.
Yes! All right, I'm ready. Tell me about the promised land.
Long ago.
We're back and we're about to talk about Evercold, but of course, spoilers. So our spoiler food for this episode is rock-fisted Popoto Stew, based on a traditional Alexandrian recipe that does not call for the addition of any oglops, despite what some may have pondered. I wanted like a nice hearty stew that will keep us warm and toasty as we travel to the fourth, where everything is frozen except for the things that aren't frozen. Because that's where we're going to in the new expansion, Evercold, that we even found out is coming out in January 2027.
Happy birthday and anniversary to me.
and me for the anniversary part.
Yeah.
They've never actually, like, for example, they gave us a nebulous summer at the time when Dawn Troll was announced.
Mm-hmm.
They've never actually said, no, this is the month, which is probably good because they would have told us winter and everyone would have thought December, and it was never going to be December. I'm only partially surprised it's January, and I'll tell y'all now, it ain't gonna be the first chunk of January because that's New Year's and that's important in Japan.
No, we what was it? We actually thought we had the dates. I think we're either gonna get early access on our 10th wedding anniversary or the 22nd.
Yeah. I think
now if it's the day before my birthday, but yeah, that is what I'm thinking.
Worst things happen for you.
I mean, we played a patch on our honeymoon. We could play the expansion on our anniversary. It's just how we roll. But yeah, no, this is NA has never gotten that close of a date. We've never gotten that. Like that would be a Japan thing.
Yeah, this is introducing the Godless Realm saga, and definitely go watch the trailer. It's pretty awesome, and it starts off. We get to see all the shards. And the swords look really cool, and you get to see the cool CG version of the Asm crystal we've got, but also this key. They start swirling together, and
look, PowerPoint got an upgrade, man.
And then it goes, something like unite the stars as one, and everyone's like, "What the shit?"
And I'm sitting here going, "I was right. I was right." I was very proud.
And then we get to see little Awa girl and mysterious old lady as they tell us.
Might be a Shola.
We'll see. I don't know about that.
I don't think it is, but I like the joke of it's probably a Shola.
It's just an old lady who's telling a story about how this realm was cool and then it got all frozen. But don't worry, we had this like wanderer / traveler and they saved us. Yay. But also a sweet ass dope shot of Meteor and Astinian like drop kicking like a weird like crystal thing. Like it was.
If that is not a new Dragoon skill, I'm gonna be upset. Because Warriors got the whole screw the axe, I'm gonna punch it. Dragoons can get this.
It's a new action skin for Dragoon Jump.
Yeah.
Action skin.
There you go.
Action skins.
They're getting pole dancing back now. They can at least drop kick.
No, it seems cool. It seems cool. It really gave me really I know a lot of people are joking that it's Heavensward 2, but the vibes I got from that trailer screamed Shadowbringers 2 to me. It seems like, and I say seems like because we don't know for sure, but it certainly seems like the majority of our time in this expansion is going to be on another shard, just like Shadowbringers. The music vocals had a lot of Jason Charles Miller to them. It seemed like a much more of a rock song. I mean, they've all been rock songs, but it felt like the same kind of rock song that Shadowbringers theme was. So I'm really curious.
I kind of feel like it was light on information. Like they showed a lot of, they had the overarching thing where they do the quote that just showed up in 7.5, hold fast into your beliefs or whatever. And like they do like the lingering shots of like the Game of Thrones thing where they have like this tapestry gets built up of like this really like cloth knitted like trees and like the streams that looked really cool, to be fair. Like the aesthetic, I've seen, we thought it was like very Norse, but I've seen other people online describe it as Celtic as well. So like there's a very European inspired aesthetic going on here that I think is really cool. That being said, we are very light on information.
Well, and that's the NA trailer.
Well, exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, well, I feel like even last year we maybe saw a little bit more generally. We saw the Scions in the last Dawn Trail trailer. We didn't get the job specifically, but we did get like the little fight with Gol Jaja, for instance. I know that we're going to be getting the better ones. I guess what I'm thinking, I'm personally waiting for the European and the Japanese, the final reveal, get the full inspiration. Because I feel like I liked it. I won't say I didn't like it. I thought, just like the keynote, we were maybe a little light on information. I wished I had more to grab onto with this.
I swear, people are absolutely convinced that is not Meteor at the end.
Within the Reaper?
Oh, when Meteor is shown off as a Reaper?
People are absolutely convinced that is not Meteor. And I'm like,
you literally see him.
One, I don't want it to be who you think it's going to be. Two, I don't want it to be...
you literally see him.
What I've heard...
Now, I do like Basil's the point he's probably going to say.
People have said, like, the theory that I had was potentially, it could be, again, Shadowbringers, too. But that Reaper may not be our Meteor. It could be new evil Meteor. What if Ardbert was actually evil? Like, it could be another Asm, reflection from the fourth. Or I have heard people wondering, this could be a face swap of Zero. And just for whatever reason, they're holding Zero back as a Scion for this. I don't know. I think it could just easily just be Meteor is Reaper now because they had to change the job to some other new melee, and it was either Reaper or Ninja. And this is not another authored expansion, so therefore it needs to be Reaper.
I mean, it's Reaper because it's we're finishing up the last stuff in Garlemald, so we already know. Maybe not spoilery, but like Voidsent is stuff coming up. They're obviously bringing back Zero. They've already made that obvious. I feel like Reaper is kind of a shoe-in. The new job, or rather the Meteor job, is not always the new job. Paladin was Endwalker, for instance. So like, I think it's just, it works aesthetically, and that's fine. I don't know why people have to theory craft. That feels really strange because they show his face. It is Meteor. We see him. If they were going to be weird about an identity, they were already weird about who the Wanderer is going to be in the title, the Silver Wanderer. So if they were going to make something, some rug pull, some fake out, that would be the one to do it with, not the person whose face we literally see at the end of the trailer.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I think the idea comes from in the original Dawn Trail teaser CG thing, right? We saw, Meteor as Viper, about to pull out weapons, but they obscured what weapons he was pulling out.
Yeah.
And they didn't actually show off the actual weapons until the EU FanFest. So that was, I think, what they're doing again. I don't know.
The other thing that other example that I have seen a lot of is the Endwalker trailer. When we save Alizé by slicing off the tail, that's not us in the game. It's Graha. So a lot of people are wondering if that's just going to be someone else when we actually get there in the game.
In the game, sure,
Mhm.
yeah.
So I don't know.
But granted, we saw way more of the Scions in the Dawn Trail initial teaser trailer versus this one where we only get to see, Meteor, Estinian,
Alpha now shows
and
up.
Blue Owl say, yeah.
I appreciate the Grinding Gear boys are like, all right, so there's the boys' trip. So on some other island is the girls' trip with Alice at Cryle and Estelle. Can I go with them?
So we'll see. But I also know that they mentioned they understood that people were like, there was a weird balance of, we had a lot of Scions initially in Dawn Trail, but the Scions didn't get much of the screen time in Dawn Trail, which for me was fine because I wanted these other characters to get their screen time more than the Scions. The Scions are pretty well developed at this point, but this also could be a case of there being more intentional on who is traveling with us in the fourth. But who knows? It could also just be a case of the next trailer will show more, and this is just what we get. I really feel this teaser trailer chose to tell us, hey, we're going to the fourth. This is the fourth. It's the fourth deal. Yeah. Now go forth and kick some ass.
Go forth. Yeah, I think they brought up a lot was they didn't want to spoil too much because 7.5 wasn't out yet. They said, I think they repeated it several times, and we'll probably repeat several times here. Wait for Berlin. More information will be in Germany. So yes, they probably just were waiting for time to pass before they showed us and talked a little bit more about everything.
That said, they did show off a lot of artwork, a lot of screenshots of the look of the North. It does look very cool. It does look very Norse. It does look very Celtic.
I love that apparently, someone brought up to Yoshi P about it, about the Norse connection. And he was like, wait, you figured that out? My favorite part is we have an FC called Odin Spear, and we're all sitting there going, that's us. It's our expansion. We have our expansion.
Yeah. No, that was during the Q&A roundtable thing with Yoshi P for the various media outlets that were there. They all submitted questions, and a selection of them got answered by Yoshi P. And one of the questions was that one. And Yoshi P apparently plucked that one out. He wasn't going to originally comment on it. The fact that they mentioned it, he was, you've got a keen eye. I was not going to answer that, but you were so spot on. And in fact, we were saving names and places of this place of the fourth for a later expansion to be those reveals, but you noticed it already. So I had a comment. So I guess that this is our Ragnarok expansion, as it were. I like to think that maybe someone on the dev team has been really enjoying Vinland Saga, but that's just me. But they got cool new areas. That the current guess is because in the trailer they mentioned how everything below was frozen, so they all had to move into the skies. And so I think what we're seeing are lots of little mini Azus laws. And that's why they don't look so frozen, is because they're above it. A lot of people wonder also we might be getting phase changes as well, where like in Shadowbringers, where things were at night and then became bright and sunny as the dark or not sorry, bright and sunny and then became dark because night was brought back. It could be the same thing where things could initially be frozen and then be thawed. We'll see. They also showed off the arcane colossi of Unknown Providence, which I think they just mentioned arcane colossi during the keynote, but those are new big looking hulking behemoths of stone and magic.
Oh, Mr. Happy called them Jotai. It's a Norse thing.
Jotun?
Maybe, yeah, something like that. Because he said that's what people have sort of started calling them because that's what it reminded them of.
A lot of people think it reminds them of Sen from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen some comparisons to your favorite Final Fantasy 13.
Well, that's that's the UI.
I've seen that. Compare them to
this. Basil, if it helps, Jesse made the same face.
It's fine. We got new cool cat people to talk to. So
cat lalas.
And they showed the cat tree town in our work. That was cool. They showed off things that possibly new dungeons. And then they went into this whole slide about fighting fatigue. As you can see, just tombstones of poetics just falling down and rising up. And how tombstones, at least in a modern current expansion thing, might be gone. I still feel that poetics are never going away. and that's still how you're going to earn to do all your stuff of previous expansions. I don't think that's going away, but I think they certainly seem like they're really digging into trying to modernize 14 to the extent that they can. And they showed off this adventure activity UI screen that, yes, looks very, I was thinking like Genshin Impact or sure, Final Fantasy 13. It looks like a much more of what people would consider a modern screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it looks so much like a potential gacha game that Yoshida go, this is not a gacha. Still, we're not turning this into a gacha. This is still just a paid subscription MMO. That is not changing. Because they also introduced the term seasons, and they had to go, this is not it. This ain't a battle pass. Like, we're really just saying, hey, we're grouping up patches like we've always grouped up patches. We're just now calling them seasons. So now I guess I think it's just a term that if the CEO hears seasons, they go, ooh, that sounds all modern and gotcha, even though it's not gotcha at all.
I mean, it didn't bother me much because of the PvP stuff. Like, I felt my brain went, oh, it's like PvP series now. So it's just longer, but yeah.
Well, that's why they call the PvP thing a series, not a season.
Yeah.
Because seasons have a very specific, a very intentional usage in video gaming nowadays. When people think seasons, they do think season pass. They think battle pass. They think, like, when I'm playing, Final Fantasy Dissidia Dwellum, and you can only earn the things you get in that season pass. You want more of it, you spend the money to get the season pass, and they were trying to say, no, we're not doing that.
I thought it looked great. Emphasized the weekly grind away from a daily grind, which I'm here for. All the tasks that they mentioned on the log was pretty much just stuff on your challenge log already, your weekly challenge log. So it seems to me what they're doing is moving away from your challenge log being a thing that gives you XP to give tombs or whatever they're going to be using to build your gear. Because that's really if you're playing at max level, you're not leveling up really much anymore. You're getting your grind. So transferring your challenge log stuff from XP and Gil, which are almost pointless, to whatever this new tombstone alternative is, I think is going to be great. I didn't really want to put too much stock on the picture they showed because they did say this is just a mock-up. It seemed a little Photoshop to me. If it seemed something like that, I think it looked really nice. It was kind of cool to see the little Mikode girl in the middle and like the different gear things off to the side, almost Persona-ish in a way. FF14 by way of Persona. I think it looks great. I'm excited to see what it actually turns out to be in Germany. When they talk about this and give you actually information in Germany, I just think it's cool. I'm not going to worry about it too much because it's going to change, but I'm excited for the things they're telling me it's going to be.
I also liked how they mentioned that you'll be able to pose your character of the middle as you see them, like you'll be able to show off your emote or what have you. That was very cool. Yeah, I'm excited for the whole changing a daily grind to a weekly grind, because there's a lot of times where I have to go, okay, I need to get my weekly cap of tombstones. How am I going to do it? I kind of did not do experts this week. How am I going to make this happen? So I do like the concept of, one, everything that you do can potentially work towards your weekly goal. I really wonder if they were looking at how people did the Moogle Tombstone event, and that's what's informing them for this.
Mm-hmm.
I also like how they showed off things, for example, that what we're going to now do is that your highest eye level, once you hit 110, because we're going up to 110, will then your eye level for your highest job, you can now reflect that to all your other jobs that are at 110.
I'm so excited.
Which means that I can be, because like right now, for me, for example, my main is Summoner. I also try to gear up White Mage and Gunbreaker as best I can. Right now, Gunbreaker is a little behind, and my White Mage is pretty much operating under like patch like 7.3 stuff. Like it is not any way remotely geared for stuff right now. But come Evercold, it won't matter. Now, if you want to really make sure that all your classes are geared to the point where they can be, maximum operability, you want to use your materia just right to get your substats the way you want them to be, then you probably need to keep gearing out all your gear sets for all the jobs. But if you just want to get the general stats up there, So say if Anna is running a thing with her savage folks and they go, well, actually, we really need a tank. And it can go, I got my warrior. Let's go. Make it happen. That's really, really cool. Or say if we're doing a thing and suddenly we realize, oh, we really need a healer. I can then go like, okay, let me swap to white mage. Let's go. And that I'm really looking forward to that.
As with activities, as with evolve mode, we'll see a little later. They're making big changes, big sweeping changes step by step, rather than completely overhaul everything for a new expansion. They're smartly doing things like this. Like, let's see how activities work. Let's see how reflecting eye level across jobs works. Man, 10.0, eye level should go away. I'm just going to call right here. I want eye level. Eye level is a legacy system. It doesn't matter anymore. It's just an alternative leveling system, which I mean, some people want, but I think this is kind of that half step into eventually getting rid of eye level as an independent thing, because it doesn't really matter. Gear, we just mentioned this early in chat, like a few days ago, compared to FF11, where gear is like different, distinctly different. It gives you different abilities. Your gearing actually matters. In 14, it's just another grind. It's literally just another exponential grind, linear grind, rather. This just further proves that it doesn't matter, because you're already going to choose your activities are going to choose what you level up, your eye level, your gear up. So just make that flat across all jobs and let people swap to whatever they want, rather than have to grind 5 different sets of gear.
I mean, like, it matters if you're doing in game, but that's a very small percentage of people compared to how many people play this game.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if they got rid of eye level completely and made it flat against everything, that you could still do it. You wouldn't have to grind 5 different sets to play different things. You could play Dancer, when the new EX comes out, when the new Ultimate comes out, you could play Dancer, you could play Warrior, you could do, White Mage, you could do everything day one, rather than have to wait and tombstone grind every single set, week to week to week to week, get coins for these alliance raids every single week. They just give it to you. And sure, I guess that's less to do for people that like that grind, but eye level to me doesn't make sense anymore. It's just a legacy system that I think really they just kind of want to get rid of, and they probably will in a couple of X-Packs, depending on how the adventure activity works and evolve mode works and that kind of thing. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know, because they do need to make sure that there is a carrot in front of us, or if we're a fat chocobo, a cake in front of us. So we keep running on that treadmill to stay engaged in the video game. And that is the way that they have been doing, especially for things like Savage and Ultimate. You want the right gear with the right stats. Like, for example, Ultimate's Anna knows this very well because she has done this.
Yeah.
Where you want very specific gear to give you just the right main stats and substats. It gives you the best edge to finish that Ultimate, especially when it first hits. So I could see them getting rid of it. They have to then figure out what's that new carrot that will get people going. Another example is one of the big complaints with the latest version of Variant and Criterion and whatnot is that it wasn't providing people a way to upgrade their gear. So I do feel that people feel that gear upgrades, even though it's just number go up, it's not quite as scattered and changing of how everything works like 11 does. People still do really care, who are really into it, about that number going up in specific ways. So they would if they get rid of it, they've got to figure out a different way to get people who want to obtain that.
Yeah.
And what the rewards are for obtaining that.
Yeah, I would say they didn't tell us so much. We can just guess based on what we saw. But the adventure activity UI, the bottom, the actual progression bar, people pointed out that the stuff on the top is like gear related improvements. The stuff on the bottom is like things like orchestrion rolls and stuff, like extra things. So they could shift that over from eye level improvements. If you look at the thing, like you have like the gear slots, there's like a hand slot and it's locked. So like that's where the new quote unquote tombstone will be. Maybe that is something like an alternative to materia. Like you can choose what stats you put on your hand slot, for instance, rather than just a flat eye level improvement. Maybe it will be something that matters to you or a choice, something more interesting than eye level increase, I guess is what I'm asking for.
I am very curious to see how far they go with the whole character action skins thing, where I know like a friend of ours, Elo, who's a Dragoon, he really misses his pole dance jump. And I think it's very telling that I think that was what was on the screen they showed when they showed off character action skin, because he got so immediately excited. He was pointing at the screen and he was like, and I remember Anna like goes over and goes, Elo, you got it back. You're getting your pole dancing back.
Yeah, he was so sad when it went away. It was funny because someone in our Ultimate Discord, they showed him at some point right after that happened, and they said you could see him like fist pump, being so excited about it. They went, there's Elo talking about the Dragoon changes.
I am really curious, as a summoner, is this how I finally get more eggies than just the, red Lego, green Lego, yellow Lego of Titan, Ifrit, Garuda and whatnot? Is this how I get them? Is if I can equip, just change the skin of Ifrit to like, I don't know, Susano or Ramu or what have you. Is that how they're going to finally let me choose? Like, functionally, it won't change how the summoner plays, but at least I can make it look different. That I would find very, very nice. Maybe if they could change one of Anna's area effects things as Bard to allow her to have a flame arrow effect again. And even though it may not be flame arrow, it can at least look like flame arrow, and that's almost as good, right?
Yeah.
I've seen people like ask for the old white mage stone and arrow effects back away from the new glare and Dia. I think I could see a space for that for sure. Like older effects come back. The one thing I'm worried about with this whole new thing though is that's gonna be Mog Station fodder right there. And I ain't paying $20 for like an old white mage set. Sorry that I have, but if I can get it in game, then great.
I don't see that. Because I mean, I feel like that's very much up there with like the chocobo, like reacting to the emotes. Like I feel like it's something like it would just be something like that, like maybe MGP or something. But like I don't see it being Mog Station.
Well, I think it's going to be a case of it's also going to be things that you're going to get from your adventure activity. Like you're going to be able to pick out.
Oh yeah.
A character skin for a job.
Anyway, yeah, I hope they don't mind this for Mog Station stuff. That's my one worry. Please don't do that. I'm not going to spend money on pole dancing or anything else to that degree.
I'm spending money on my flame arrow, but
yeah.
I think, well, especially for like things that are already technically in the game, I don't think they're going to do it. Now, I can see them eventually doing some like extra like pretty or extravagant ones that I could see that, but I don't think they're going to do that from the jump. I think they want to include that in the game. And like you mentioned, they've got to have new carrots at the end of sticks for us to go for, especially if things like our stats are going to change on how they hand them out.
That's true.
So we'll see. I also think that the graphics update continues to pay dividends. I think a lot of people don't realize just how foundational that graphics update really was. But for example, they're giving us a color picker for eyes, hair, and skin tone. So you can pick whatever ass color you want. So if you want your own personal Shrek to be your Warrior of Light, you'll be able to do that. Great. Awesome. Cool.
Maybe Yugi can finally have the bangs I want him to have.
Maybe. We're not sure if it changes where you can place the color in the hair, but it's possible. We know that they're doing more customizations for eyes and lips, and they're even doing like more eyeshadow, and like multiple face paint layers. So even if at launch you don't get the chance to do that, I could totally see down the line they're going to let you like dye specific patches of hair. I could totally see that being like an eventual in part. They seem like they really want to let you customize your character as much as possible, probably because there's lots of mods that already do that, and they want to make it possible in the game naturally for anything they can get away with. They even showed off like gear customization, like the equivalent of visor, but for like actual parts of armor. Like they showed off like one of the armor sets where you could take off chunks of it and it still looks like armor. So if you don't want all like your bandoliers or what have you, you don't have to have them. I thought that was very, very neat.
Yeah, like, because I saw that dress and I was like, I like that dress, but I don't like the flower.
Oh yeah, I was saying all of this is like a direct response to like the mod drama from a few months ago. Like they're giving you those options that they had to take away. It's really interesting to see what this customizable gear is going to look like. I think it's going to be a little. My guess is going to be underwhelming for what people are expecting. It is cool that it's there. I'm hoping to make use of it, but it does feel like response to people asking for, I want this, but a little bit less. I want fewer belts on this thing. You know, hey, they're going to give us some options for that, legally in a way they can, legally talk about.
Hey, options are good to have. I always like some options, like the option of picking out and playing 2 new jobs in Evercold. We know that we're getting a new tank and a new physical range DPS. So we'll learn about one of them in Berlin. And we know that Yoshi had his shirt. It was Retotten.
Retotten.
It was Retotten, yeah.
Yeah. Our double shield, guy who lives in Cape West, Westwind, the hardest trial in the game. So hard they had to take it out and make it a solo duty. It was so hard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one we're going to hear about in Berlin. I think they will say Fizz ranged for Tokyo, which sucks because I really want to know what it is, but I think because he was wearing that shirt is why I think he'll talk tank at Berlin.
Oh, it's gonna be the range DPS. It's pretty easy to read. So Retotten is a character that's dead. He's so dead we fought him twice. We know he's dead. He's a ghost. We look at famous ghost in Final Fantasy. You can only think of Tidus from 10. Tidus is a blitzballer. The physical range DPS is blitzballer.
No. Yes.
I
will quit this game if that becomes...
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Yes, I will. I will absolutely quit this game.
So, my guess was Belmont, because Guess Who's Back. Now, the popular ones have been Guess Who's Back. It's an MMM saying Marshall Mathers. The new job is Marshall. We've also heard, Retotten in Rogadin means judge. And you've never actually had to play a judge in Final Fantasy. They've just existed as an archetype in, 12 and Tactics Advance. So the new tank is going to be judge. So
that could be cool.
Now, they did, from the Q&A, people did yell out names, what weapons they want to see in the game. And things were like crossbow, hammer, morning star type flails, gun and sword. They did mention blitzball, to which Yoshi P pointed and went, bad.
Bad means like it's so bad, like it's good. Like the wizard. That's what he meant by it. It's a good idea.
Now, the one that got him excited was Yo-Yo. And that's the one I want to see, because I am a big Sukiban.
Yugi might be a yo-yo if that happens.
Look, and one day I'm going to pull up my DVD of Tsukiban Deka.
Okay.
Which is about this high school delinquent who fights bad guys with her yo-yo and things explode. It kicks ass. It's great. I love Sukiban Deka.
Well, there's a specific episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the season 0 where they fight with yo-yos. I'm just saying. If you ever watched it.
Yo-yo would be a follow-up.
And someone did mention Whip, and he was like, no, it'd be challenging to make. I think is a red herring. But he did mention that they heard a lot of different ideas, and they actually heard one that pertains to the new job. One of those 5 that they were talking about fits the upcoming new job, but he would not say which one it is. These are all possible. We'll see. And my thought is we're going to get the job that whatever is the easiest for the European team to be able to make a costume for Yoshi P to wear.
Yeah.
It could be Tank, it could be Fizz Rage, but whatever one they can actually fit Yoshi P into an outfit for, that's the one we're getting for European FanFest, because that's the one where he wears an outfit. But like we mentioned earlier, they are also doing this whole new thing. Like this is very much they didn't want to say they're throwing another meteor at the world and changing things, but they're definitely doing like some pretty big sweeping changes to 14. And I think the biggest one for a lot of us was combat, because we're going to have Reborn mode, but now also Evolved mode, where Reborn is just how we've been playing the game for Endwalker and Dawntrail. Evolved mode is something a little bit different. It's going to be all the 21 existing not limited jobs pouring out for poor Blue Mage, where they took the crane, they took the whole cane and just drug Blue Mage out when they were showing it off. Like just that slide just got thrown to the waste can. But it's going to be like they're taking like button, some jobs have like up to like 20 to 30 buttons, and their hope is to get everybody down to like the equivalent of only having to use like 16 buttons. And they're figuring out ways to make things more interesting, how to express people's jobs identity better, but also using less buttons to do it. And they mentioned it during the keynote, but they later on had a dev panel that actually showed it off. And I really strongly suggest that everyone who has not go to check out the dev panel online, they've now broken that out as its own separate YouTube video on the Final Fantasy YouTube page. Go watch that dev panel as they show it off. It explains it way better than anyone's done it. It'll be better how we explained it. It's better how they explained during the keynote or even at the start of the panel. Once they actually get into actually show you how it actually works, oh my gosh, it looks so interesting and fun.
It blows my mind. This wasn't like the second thing they talked about. They talked about the color picker before they talked about Evolve mode, and that blew my mind thinking about that. Evolve mode, it's going to be the future. There is no choice. They're giving us a choice for an X-Pack before they get rid of Reborn mode. Evolve mode is the future. We're living in it. It's great. Can't wait.
I was excited that Bard got a dash, because now we can go forward and back.
Well, you can go forward, back, to side. Like the way I love the concept of contextual things. For example, I know with Paladin, where they showed shield lob as a distance is one button, but when you get in close, it becomes your sealed bash. So suddenly you've got one button for both range and melee. It just depends on your distance to your target. That sounds awesome. Or how doing one ability on a bad guy is one thing, but you do it on a character and you dash to them and you cover them.
Yep.
I thought that was sick as hell, because that really tells me that's cover. When you actually move the character to cover the person physically,
yep.
It reminded me watching Anna playing like Final Fantasy 4 and 6, and also 5. Oh yeah, where sometimes she would have the cover ability active, and she'd be like, "No, don't hit it," and then they got covered. Like, oh, thank God! Like it is, and seeing that actually happen in 14 was very exciting. I was only mad they didn't show us a caster, mostly because I just want to see how Summoner is going to change. And that's just a very...
I'm excited to see how Astro is going to change too, because...
Yeah. I like the concept of only having to deal with 16 buttons, because while I use like an MMO mouse that only has 12, but I've been trying to like have a third row that allows me to hit shift. And I have a real issue like actually moving from control to shift to try and addle in things. And it's not really quite working for me. But if I could have everything that's just like one row and then just some row with control, that sounds great. And I know, Tobias, you use a controller. This sounds perfect. I know they've got like, the cross, the wide, the W, the hot bars and everything, but to have everything, most of it you need is just on the one hot bar. You won't have to like spread your wings so much. That's gotta sound great.
I don't have a problem playing a controller. Paladin, I hear for a lot of people is like the button heavy job to play. I've got it okay. I will say that I don't even have Shield Bash on my hotbars. Like it's buried in one of the other ones because I don't need it. Like White Mage has stun, so there's no reason for me to waste a GCD on Shield Bash usually. Occasionally it gets, there's a reason I could use it, but like I don't, because it just takes up another slot that I don't have. This would make me use Shield Bash more often, for instance. What I really think here is the game's always been designed around controller, around the limited number of buttons. But over the years, there's so much cruft that's been added to other stuff, and some things have been deprecated to the point where like at level 50, it doesn't play anything at level 50 played back when you guys were doing it. Like it is tutorial basic mode, you know. Talking about Paladin doesn't even have spells at level 50. I don't even have a decent ranged attack at level 50. But that's going to change because they're building the foundation. They're redoing all the jobs. They're giving you a foundation to have at level 50 and then expanding on that foundation, which, you know, you can see now at level 100, but we're not going back and replaying the game, you know, from level 1. So we don't see how it feels kind of misshapen over the literal decade that we've had the game now. That's the most exciting thing, is they're reforming the base so that when we get more stuff at level 110 and 120 and 130 and up to 150, you know, in another decade, that gives us more space to move rather than have to build on top of this unstable structure. And that's really what I think is the most exciting. Like, this is going to be the way we're going to be playing the game. They made it clear that none of the new jobs are getting in Reborn. You know, only the original ones were probably, I mean, I can't see them building on Reborn at level 120 anymore. Like, this, the only reason they're giving us a choice is they want us to dip our toe in and get used to it, rather than making us do it all right at January 22nd, change over everything. They want us to give us some time to change over. But this is the future, and it's here. And so far, it looks really fucking cool. My Sheltron turning into a counter move? Yes. Ooh. I'm so here for that.
Yeah, I really feel that a Reborn and a Heavensward, it gave them a real chance to build on all the jobs that existed in interesting ways. There was just enough wiggle room to add on to it. But once we got into Stormblood and beyond, they kind of had already maximized the total amount of buttons a job can really have. And so every time we get a new expansion, it's been around the same amount of actions and general job things that we got to do. But then they had to keep spreading it out more, spreading it out more, spreading it out more. And so now playing the game at lower levels feels really not as fun because you just don't have your whole kit. And it kind of sucks. So the concept that everyone's job identity, the actual base, how everything plays, locks in at 50 is great. I'm really excited for this. I remember before, I remember the previous episode, I was talking, maybe we can get like a level squish, you know, because we need to condense our abilities again in less levels because there's just too much spread out. It's not good. Evolve fixes that because they're now taking this at a base level and they're completely changing up from the ground up. And that's cool. I'm really excited to try this. I think it looks really neat. You know, I have also said back during Endwalker, when they introduced Crystalline Conflict and they revamped all the PvP abilities, that, oh man, I want modes in this game where I'm using my PvP ability set and not my normal ability set. I think that this PvP actions, these are really, they're condensed down. They're really hone in directly what every job is about in new and fun ways. This is what I want to play with, if not the whole game, at least some more things than just PvP. Well, spoilers, the guy who really did it, I'm blanking on his actual name, but they've now christened him Mr. Prime because he did the robot in the lighthouse fight. He's the guy that, you know, more or less revamped PvP, and now he's now the guy who is revamping Evolved mode. Like that this has been his like other baby, in addition to everything else that he's doing. He's doing a lot. Hey Basil, sorry to interrupt you, but Basil here point out that the name that you forgot, his name is Hikaru Tamaki, and he's done a lot. Not only is he the mastermind behind PvP as we know it today, he's also worked on a lot of the job designs. Things like the original Ninja, the original Machinist, Astrologian, Samurai, Dancer, Reaper, and even in 7.0 for Dawntrail, Pictomancer. He's also worked on various duties like the hard versions of Hawk Manor and the Tamtar Deepcroft. Also worked on 8th Chemical Research Facility. I do not hold that against you, but he also did work on the Lighthouse's Construct 7. Why he has now been christened as Mr. Prime, With as much work he's done on PvP, I thought maybe he should be called Mr. PvP, but Mr. Prime does sound fancier. So, good for you, Mr. Prime, or Hikaru Tamaki. Okay, back to me talking. By the way, folks, if you're in Japan, Square Enix, Yoshi-P, he's hiring. They need folks. Like, they got the CEO guy to walk on stage and be like, yes, we are supporting this game. We are funneling money into this game. Please know that this game is going to get the funds that it requires. Also, it's going to be on Switch 2 now. Don't worry about it. Well, maybe worry a little about it because Nintendo didn't exactly play ball. And so you have to have a 14 sub for Switch, no matter whether you like it or not. At least it's half off. I want that to do well, so maybe they'll give me half off my 11 sub. But also, if folks are just now playing, because I also mentioned that PlayStation 4, they've literally run out of the physical, actual hardware constraints of the PS4 just in memory size completely, where I think it's like 8.3 or so. Like they're going to have to turn off PS4 support because they physically cannot, the PS4 cannot handle the memory bandwidth that 14 now is feeding it.
I was very excited about the Switch 2 announcement because, like, literally the day before we left, a friend of ours was on their way to FanFest and was playing 14 on a Steam Deck. And I was like, yep, that's going to be me. Whenever they announce 14 for Switch 2 someday, had no idea. I had hoped, but I was not really expecting us to get that announcement when we did.
I mean, it's great. It's coming eventually. But like the energy in the room was like sky high when they said Switch 2 and then dropped down like a roller coaster when they said a second subscription. Like that blows my mind.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, you can see, and everybody that has talked about this that I've watched, like, no one blames Square Enix about this. Like, you could see their faces that they were like, "This is what we could get out of Nintendo. Like, this was the absolute best we could get out of them." Like, every single person did not say anything like that I've seen has not said anything bad about Square Enix about this. It's all, yep, that sounds like Nintendo.
I mean, it don't really matter. It don't really matter who to blame at the end of the day. I don't think it's so cut and dry. But it don't matter. I ain't paying 2 subs. It's like the issue with 11. It's like 11. Like, I'm totally there when they do like a combined sub. They still, for some reason, haven't done it. And I don't buy the excuse that they can't do that. They can do a combined sub with 11 and 14. They could do a combined sub with Switch 2 and everything else. But somebody, it don't matter who said they can't do it. That's a little silly. I will play on my Steam Deck. I still have that thing. I think a Switch 2 would probably play a little better because it's optimized for a Switch 2. I ain't paying another $7 on top of everything else to play this game. That's a little silly.
I mean, I probably won't keep the subscription going consistently like I do with my PC, but if I know I'm going to be going on a trip or somewhere, I fully intend to do it because that's what I've been wanting. I've been wanting something to be able to, because I can't do a Steam Deck. So like I was able to get a Switch 2 and that is what I have. So I'm like, I will happily do that.
I'm totally here for, I'll put down the $20 down for a Switch 2 license, but I'm not paying a continuous edition as a thing. Like, give me the $20 thing and add it on. That's perfectly fine. It just seems like such a misstep, man. Like, why? Come on. Such a frustration.
It's contracts.
Well, it's funny because whenever I was like excited that you didn't have to have Nintendo Online, I was kind of hoping it would be included with Nintendo Online because we do have it.
Yeah, like, either or. Like if you have Nintendo Online, you don't have to pay an additional sub, or you do.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, like that would have been fine. I just like because it's nothing else. Like we already are in this mentality of like you buy the individual platform licenses and you pay 1 sub. I'm used to it. I'm cool with it. Whatever. It's not what other things do, but like it's there, it works. But just to have the one alternative here, the one that you want, that you're excited for, okay, well, we're going to nickel and dime you. Again, whether it's Nintendo's fault, Square Enix's fault, I don't know. I just hate it.
Well, and maybe between now and August, whenever it happens, maybe we'll hear something in Berlin. Maybe they'll see, oh, this was a bad, like, people don't really want that. Maybe we can figure out, like, do sort of what you said. If you have a Nintendo Online subscription, it's included. If you don't, then you can do the 50% off. Like,
was one of the things I did in my, they had like the survey for FanFest and like what all the things you were excited for. And that's what I put. The Switch 2 was, the person answering the survey is probably not the one that's going to see it, but that was my feedback, that it's a dumb idea. Like, don't do that. It's so silly.
Yeah, no one likes this. It just matter, can we deal with it? But I do think the more people push back on it in a constructive and not mean or terrible way, I feel that is very important, that, you know, don't engage via rage.
Yeah. I make it on YouTube and make a video.
Yeah. Like make your displeasure known so that, you know, Square Enix can then go to Nintendo and be like, all right, here is more data to please let us do, you know, let's try to work on this more. And we'll see. Because at the end of the day, these are corporations, these are contracts. Everyone's trying to get their bag. How are they going to do it? And that we're just players, you know, like we all we can go is, ooh, that's exciting, or ooh, no, that sucks. We don't like that.
In the same way that he brought up the CEO and was like, look, man, these people will crucify you if you don't give my game more money. Like, this is what we're doing this for. They're going to bring up Doug Bowser and sacrifice him on stage to appease the Nintendo gods, like, with the crowds.
That's why he quit. That's why he retired.
He was afraid.
Was to avoid, he didn't want to get choo-chooed. You know, be struck upon the cross. You know, just like Adam and the popular anime Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Jesus Christ. That, I didn't think anything could top Fall Guys for weirdest FanFest announcement. I was proven wrong, because you could hear the what the fucks going throughout the room, and of every video I've seen since, it's just like that was not on anybody's bingo card.
Man, when that music started playing, I'm like, wait. I started like, I started ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Wait, is that? And it's like Neon just having, I'm like, what?
I had the same reaction. Yeah.
Oh, like, man.
Like my subconscious recognized the music, and my body started, I had a visceral reaction. I started to like screaming, what? And before my neurons realized that it was Ava specifically, and I looked at the screen to confirm it. When I saw the purple, that's when my actual conscious realized what I was seeing. And like, I have not had such like just an automatic reaction to a thing. Like, I just could not believe it. And it was even weirder because like a week ago, I was talking with a friend of the show, Austin. We were joking, you know, with the new Yoko Taro Ava thing they've been talking about doing, you know, bringing him back, and like, you know, haha, what if he's working on Kingdom Hearts now? What if the new Ava is going to be a Final Fantasy 14 raid? We're just being stupid. And I made it real somehow. I don't want it to. I don't know.
I swear to God, you two, you're both podcasters. Why was this not recorded and put online in advance so we could point to it?
Oh, but this is, I will remember that visceral reaction. My body reacted to this before I knew what it was. It was just kind of amazing. That was for me the highlight of this weekend. Was just like, would not have expected at all this, like, another game, sure, like, Ava, what the fuck?
I looked at Basil because I knew if anybody was going to know what it was immediately, it was going to be Basil. And I was looking at him, and the look on his face was, I know what this is. I shouldn't know what this is. This is not, these two things do not combine. And then when the image showed up, my jaw was on the floor. Esther and Basil both were going, what the fuck? And then immediately you can go to the stream and look right after it's announced. You can see my mouth open and Basil typing on his phone to our friend John. Going, you're playing this game now.
We got him.
There is video evidence of that. Like, that was absolutely floored me. And then I went and talked to Kyle from Grinding Gear afterwards. I said, all right. At first I asked him what he said. He said, oh, and you can watch his reaction too. He was cursing and it was great. And I said, well, here's the thing. We now have Evangelion. We have Ikahara. We are one step closer to Sailor Moon in this game. And he was like, yes.
Well, I should point out that Ikahara did not work on Ava. He's just friends with Hideaki Anno, who made Ava.
Not true.
I mean, at this point, Ava's in Final Fantasy 14. We could say that all bets are off at this point. Fuck it could be anything. Like,
absolutely. Like that is one. That was one alliance where nope.
Yeah.
Like Nier was one thing. I'm like, okay, it's a video game. It is absolutely a video game. It's fine. But then, and people were like, dude, Yoshi P loves Garo. And we got that. Which I'm like, yes, we did in PvP. I did not expect this as an alliance raid.
Well, Garo was interesting because the guy who created Garo also did the boss designs for the Evilise raids.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And that was like, yeah, he was the guest artist for the Evilise raids. And I think either they got him for Garo and then also do Evilise, or they got him for Evilise and they're like, hey, do you also want to do a collab with Garo? So that sort of came as like a thing. But yeah, he also worked on an alliance raid, but as for the boss designs.
I'll say though, if they get Yokotaro to even help with this, we're going to die. There will be a mechanic. If one person fails, the entire raid will die. Because he almost got it with Nier. And they went, that might be a little too hard. I can see them going, all right, but really, can we do this now? And them going, you know what? Sure.
I've spent a lot of time sort of speculating what we could be doing, but I kind of don't want to do that because it could be, are we going to be fighting an Ava? Like, are we going to get a plug suit as a glam? Are we going to get an Ava armor as a glam? Like, there's so many things they could do.
We'll get an Ava as a mount?
Yeah, like, can we get Pin as a minion? Like, can we get an official Misato glam? Like, in the game, like, there's so much they could do. And I imagine they'll be doing whatever the Yokotaro thing is, that'll be more of a collab with that specifically as a tie-in. So, like, we don't even know what that is yet, whether that's going to be using the original cast or a brand new thing. I mean, it could be anything at this point. It's just, I can't believe.
I need to emotionally prepare that whatever story it is, it'll be sad.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
There will be no happy ending.
And speaking of like that, like the other thing they mentioned was they're going to be doing progression routes for alliance raids now, which I don't even know what that means. But
I don't either. I'm curious to see what
it's going to be a
means.
Big deal for Ava. So like we could be getting brand new kind of things with that. Like maybe it's things like if the majority of the alliance like does this mechanic first, or maybe when you eventually have the three that split, whoever alliance beats theirs first chooses what route to take, almost like Variant Dungeon style, maybe. Like alliance raids are the most on rails content.
Maybe the route depends on what boss you get.
Yeah, like so far it's been the most on rails thing. Like alliance raids have been the most on rails content. I don't know what they could do to do progression routes there. Like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Wait till Berlin, maybe.
Wait till Berlin, yeah.
Or Tokyo. We'll find out which one. Before we wrap up, I do have to get a sit rep on Anna for this brand new Ultimate UMAD. Or Dancing Mad Ultimate.
Originally, the Discords have now dubbed it UMAD. I will say, when I first did Omega, I had not played 6. I absolutely hated Kefka because I did the Savage. It was terrible. Like in a hard, I hate this. He's a good villain way. I have now beaten 6. I never want to see this motherfucker again. I'm scared because, and as Yoshi P said, after they showed the trailer for it, it looks very much like Savage. Because he said, this looks a lot like Savage did. And I'm like, because there's other things I'm like, where's the heads? Where's like, there's certain mechanics. I'm like, the question mark thing. I'm like, and we all assume that they didn't, because he said you didn't show a lot. Like, we're gonna get the Warring Triad. Like, we're gonna have Sophia like weights that you have to evenly distribute amongst players on the stage. We're gonna have all kinds of weird ass shit, and I am terrified.
I did like I forget it was the Q&A panel or the press Q&A. But they did explain that they've got like a small group of battle designers that work on ultimates. And the guy who's doing this ultimate, his turn came up and he's like, can I do Kefka? I want to do Kefka. I designed the Kefka Savage fight and I think I can make it better or worse, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
I really want to do a new Kefka. And they went, well, it's your turn. If what you really want to do is a new Kefka, I guess we're going to do a new Kefka. And that's how we're getting it. Anyways, good luck to Anna on that.
Yeah. I'm glad I have a group of people that are insanely talented at rating, and we'll hopefully limp our way through that.
But we need to start wrapping up. So my question is for the two of y'all, and eventually myself, because I got to decide an answer. That's my question. What, from the announcements at FanFest so far, for Evercold, are you looking forward to most?
Without a doubt, I would say Evolve Mode. I want that yesterday. I loved what I saw from the Paladin showcase. It's exactly what I want my job to continue to play like. Even just kind of glancing at the other jobs that, I have some experience with White Mage. I didn't quite grok exactly how everything worked, but I want to get my hands on it. That's what I want right now, Evolve Mode. I will probably be there day one, January 22nd, playing Evolve Mode, figuring it out before I actually continue Evercold. I want that in my veins right now.
I don't know. Like, I'm excited to see what Evolve Mode is. I mean, the not having to travel for Party Finder is going to be amazing. The story is, I'm very curious to know where we're going, especially now with playing 7.5. The trailer words were spoken in this patch, and Basil and I have talked about who we think is speaking them, and I want to know more about that.
I want that new summoner artifact gear that they showed off at the very end. It looks awesome. It very much like I've got a little like drinking horn like at my hip. It looks like they took all the same visual cues that the Dawn Trail summoner artifact armor has, which I absolutely love. I'm still wearing it, but it looks like a Norse version of that. And I'm like, perfect. A+, no notes. It looks amazing. I'm already kind of guessing at where the two die channels are going to lie and how I can color it. And it's going to be good. The actual answer, yeah, of course, it's Evolve Mode, right? Like it's a brand new way to play this video game in new and interesting ways. Hell yes. Side note, I am also very curious. The one thing we did not get was whatever is coming next for the Gold Saucer. And we know something's coming. And they didn't say a peep. And that was like the one weird thing. And I want to know what that is. Anyways.
They're just going to put Magic the Gathering Arena in the Gold Saucer. Put it in crossover. There's going to be a Magic Arena. That'll be it.
I mean, hey, we've got the best Mahjong simulator out there. Might as well have the best Magic simulator.
Exactly.
Well, maybe they will put the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters in the Gold Saucer. They talked about it way back in the day that was something they were looking into. Hell, maybe we'll get snowboarding after all. Yoshida really wanted that in there because he's a big snowboarding enthusiast himself. And none of us are getting any younger, especially Yoshi P. He acknowledges it every time that he is, one of the things in the Q&A with press was like, I don't think 14 is ever going away. Even if I retire or die, I think I've got a crew here that'll keep this game running. And we're like, did you have to say die? Like, you okay, Yoshi P? Like, what? Like, why is... But anyways.
I mean, his birthday was in a few days. That's probably what he was thinking about.
Probably. Okay. Thank you once again for listening to the Carbuncle Chronicle, your podcast for everything awesome in Final Fantasy XIV. This episode was edited probably by me, Basil, maybe by Anna, but probably me trying to furiously get this done before we hop off on a plane to California for an altogether different FanFest. The theme song was done by, the original we're part of the AwesomeCast family podcast, and the AwesomeCast theme song was composed by DJ Inabito, but the Carbuncle Chronicle theme was arranged by Anna. You can find our website at carbunclechronicle.com or awesomecast/Carbuncle Chronicle. Like I said, we are part of the AwesomeCast family of podcasts. By the way, if you go to awesomecast.com/Ava, we did a very in-depth coverage of all of the Evangelion anime, whether it's from the original TV show to the original movies to the latest rebuild movies. We covered all of them, including some interviews with some of the voice actors from the rebuild movies. So if you need podcasts about Ava, we've got you at the Awesome Cast, where you can also find things like our Patreon for the Awesome Cast Carbuncle Chronicle, patreon.com/awesomecast. We also have the Awesome Cast Discord, where you can talk to us about things like Evangelion and Final Fantasy XIV in our Discord. Some people recently just joined. So, hi, folks. Hopefully you're still listening to us. We also have YouTube channels for both the Awesome Cast and the Carbuncle Chronicle. You can also leave us Apple Podcast or Spotify reviews. Please give us the 5 maximum amount of stars. It really helps us out. You can find the Carbuncle Chronicle on various social media platforms, either as CarbyCast or the Carbuncle Chronicle or carbunclechronicle.com. You can find me on things like Blue Sky at It's Basil Time. Anna is at Angel Darkfire. The middle A is silent. And you can find Tobias at R Tobias. Thank y'all, Tobias and Anna, for chatting with me. Thank you all for listening. But never, ever forget, especially when everyone can queue together in the entire region of North America, it is still incredibly important that you tank the Bone Dragon up north. I remember that meme of people were like, are people actually going to do it? Or Primal's going to finally give up on it? And I'm like, no, never. Never give up. Never surrender. You take the Bone Dragon up north.
Yep. My other gripe is the 14 social media should not be posting beautiful, beautiful Emmett Selk statues during FanFest, and they're not at FanFest. Because I was talking to Garrett, he was like, I was so mad when I found out it wasn't here.
Pour one out for that exhibition.